Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation. You're about to listen to the Dork Forest. Yeah, you know the websites possibly. JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. The credits, of course, Mike Rickberg just sang and composed the Dork Forest theme song. He sang it with his girlfriend, Sarah. And he will sing the Mexican hat dance at the end of this program. Congratulations to Patrick Brady, who fixes the audio. He got married just very recently, and him and his girlfriend, now wife, Caitlin. I wish them all the happiness in the world, of course, but he fixes the audio. Very glamorous. And then Vilmos, he does the website, thejackycation.com, which, by the way, is where you can find everything. Dorkforest.com and iTunes are where you can find the podcast and help yourself. And tdf.libsyn.com is where you can find the bonus track, unless you have the app for some reason, which I don't necessarily recommend the app. Even like I get a nickel per app, but I don't know. Anyway, June. A-Con, going to Anime Con in Dallas over the 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm doing a stand-up show there the 7th, and I'm doing 2 live Dork Forests, one with an amazing anime author who writes about anime called Helen McCarthy, and on Thursday, possibly with a costume designer, a lovely lady that I have yet to confirm. The week of June 9th, I'm doing a lot of shows in Los Angeles because I'm taping At Midnight on Comedy Central, that game show with the Nerdist. There is one in the can, but that one's an emergency episode, so now I'm going to be on it for reals, and it'll be exciting. That's June 11th. And I'm doing Uncabaret, and I'm doing a Meltdown show a couple of times the week of the 17th and 18th. And then I will be in Florida with opening for Brian Regan the week of the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd of June. And then the week after that, I'm going to Wyoming with Maria. So I am all over the place, but a couple of those weeks I'm here in Los Angeles, and that'll be exciting for me. So Dallas, Los Angeles, Florida, Wyoming. Oh, don't forget, you can donate if you want. That is on the Dork Forest. And super fans, people have been super fanning it up. $100 a year. You could do that $8.33 a month. I have not made that easy, but I've had 2 people super fan me last month, and that was exciting. So superfan is $100 a year. You get, I don't know, like you get in the mail like just a thank you card. You don't really get anything. Or you could order stuff, and then you'd get stuff, and then you'd have $100 worth of stuff, like T-shirts and CD. My new CD, This Will Make an Excellent Horcrux, is also a DVD. You can download it at allthingsrecords.com for $5, or you could buy a hard copy for $20 that has an extra. It's just a couple of minutes, but it's an extra scene. And then the CD is available on iTunes and Amazon, or you can order it on JackieCation.com, hard copy of that as well, for $20. I think you can get them all for $45, everything I've ever fucking produced. That's the scoop, folks. And it's too much, so let's get into it. Enjoy.
At RBC Wealth Management, social responsibility starts at the top. As a part of the Royal Bank of Canada, RBC has been recognized among the world's financial, social, and environmental corporate leaders. Our sense of responsibility extends to our reputation for putting clients' interests first. My personal commitment is to help you achieve your financial goals by also considering sustainable and responsible investing strategies. To learn more, visit www.darlacashin.com. RBC Wealth Management, a division of RBC Capital Markets, LLC. Member NYSE, FINRA, SIPC.
Hello and welcome to the Dork Forest. It's Jackie Cation. You remember me. I live here in Van Nuys. And today I am with Mark Allen Miller, a horror writer, comic book aficionado, friend of Clive Barker and Worker Bee. Let's do this. At Mark Allen Miller is his Twitter handle, and markallenmiller.com. You can see your art. You can see all of that stuff. Welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right.
This is a real treat.
It is going to be a treat because you're one of like the 5 people that I've had on that we're going to talk about horror.
All right.
And, traditionally I am frightened by horror.
Yeah, this is what I hear, right? Because it's scary.
Right. Congratulations, you and all horror writers. You've already won. That is the line. That is the line.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fight, but the weird thing is I actually do read a couple of, let's tell people what you've been working on though. The New Testament, you brought me a copy of it.
Yeah. I started by writing Hellraiser,
Okay. Yeah.
which was ongoing. And
Needle face dude?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
That's the
Well
one.
played. Well played.
Well done.
Thank you.
And I moved away from that and into this original collaboration with Clive Barker called Next Testament about a man who unearths God on an archaeological excavation, only to find out that God is a stark raving lunatic.
Oh, I think we've all suspected as much.
Yeah.
But okay. All right. No offense.
I think it's no small secret.
Right. If you, to quote Maria Bamford, if you do not agree with that, rest in the knowledge that I'm wrong.
Right.
Which is her line.
Absolutely.
And
A
so,
beautiful line.
these cashews, by the way, if you're allergic, they involve nuts.
Okay.
So, they are.
I
if
have
you're
no
allergic
peanut
to nuts.
allergies.
If you have no nut allergies, then you're lucky. Okay. So I will say this, is that I don't, you picked up food and then you're like, I can't really eat it on.
Yeah, I don't know if I
audio.
want to
Nom, nom, nom. I know.
crunching into people's ears.
Yeah, no, some people furious about it. But let's talk. Weirdly enough, the only horror that I can do is comic book horror. I don't know why.
Then you're in luck,
I can't do prose.
right?
I think because it's too much left to the imagination.
Sure.
And I can't do movies because they're too real. But comic book panels, I can step away. I can
Right.
skim. I can go back.
Yeah. Because a lot of it is a sort of middle ground where the images are there for you, and it's
There's tension, but it's tension
and your
that
mind
I'm
doesn't
controlling.
have to really fill in all the blanks.
Yeah, I can't. Like I've read Lock and Key.
Okay, very cool.
That one was scary and creepy but I like it. You know, like I think my favorite kind so far has been horror that is funny.
And
And
you're-
smart.
well, you're in luck once more.
Right, 'cause
we attempt to be funny.
Exactly. You go for intelligent, funny horror.
We
And,
try.
yeah, and I've heard as much. So, and then I am reading. I grabbed two other things that I'm reading that I can. Rachel Rising,
Ah, very nice.
which is scary and creepy, and then Terry Moore, and then Afterlife with Archie. I don't know if you've
That looks fantastic. I have never seen this.
You haven't seen Robert Hack, previous guest, has done several of the covers of Afterlife with Archie. And it is put out by Archie Comics. And it's essentially, and I'm not even much into zombies.
Look at Archie getting edgy.
And yes, slightly edgy. And it's pretty great, quite honestly.
Who knew? Oh man, I got to pick that up.
Yeah, you got to get that because it's funny and because it's
Boy,
Archie.
the people at home should see this.
Oh, the people at home. I think they have seen images. I have posted images.
Okay.
And, who's writing? I don't even know who's writing it. All I know is Robert Hack did a couple of the covers. What does it say?
Roberto Aguirre Sacasa.
Well done, Roberto. Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, hey, the phone rang. It
happened.
It happened during your
I'm a
episode.
member of the club.
I'm going to go hang up on someone. I'll be right back. But tell people more. Tell people more about your thing. If you like.
My thing is many pages. It includes words and imagery.
images?
Yeah. Like most comic books.
Right. And so the New Testament is about finding God, and God is a maniac. And,
Yeah.
But all powerful.
Yeah. That's the idea.
Okay. And what's the premise of Hellraiser besides the needles in the face?
Well, there's people find a box, and if they solve it, then demons come and drag them to hell. And
Oh, another reason not to do puzzles.
anytime I can instill some fear, I'm happy to do so.
Right, quit thinking. Step away from the puzzle.
That's right. That's right.
Interesting.
It's only going to lead to bad things.
Have you always been into horror?
There was a
you also
point in
into
my life
kittens?
where I love kittens.
All right.
As I said, I'm horribly addicted to Reddit, and that's
Okay.
where cats live on in eternity.
It is a triumph of it's a cat world.
It really is.
There's a meme.
It's pretty wild.
Okay.
But there was a point, I think I was maybe 9 or 10 where it completely switched gears. I couldn't even look at or think about horror films.
Okay.
And then just one day I couldn't get enough of them.
Okay.
And I had an aunt who used to babysit me, and we were sort of co-conspirators. We would ride our bikes to the local video store and just try and find the most heinous thing imaginable.
That's hilarious. At the age of 10, which a lot of people think too soon. I think kind of the
maybe
perfect
some
age.
were too soon. But,
Some, sure.
you know, maybe Eraserhead at age 9, not quite ready.
Wow.
But
if I never see Eraserhead, I think I might win some sort of lottery. It's supposed to be super disturbing.
it is. It's a good one. It's
What does
a
it
lot
do?
of
Does
fun,
it
though.
clean your soul out? Does it make it available for the light to come in? What does horror do for you?
I don't know. It's just I think partly in writing it, definitely. It's cathartic for me.
Okay.
It exercises the demons, certainly. But in watching it, I think it's just a good an old fashioned good time.
Okay. All right. So what are the early ones? Like I just saw that Bruce Campbell Army of Darkness business. And
That was okay, right?
I saw the second one. It was hilarious.
Okay.
I loved it,
Yeah.
actually. It was it was like ridiculous.
So there is
and-
some you can handle.
Right. It might be, maybe I'll start when I am in my 50s. That might be when it all starts to come together
But,
for me.
as I said, maybe the gears will switch and
Right. My Twilight years might be full of a lot of
Twilight films.
stabbings and you never know. Yeah, are the Twilight films
I
horrifying?
would not consider those.
No, they're sparkle vampires with a lot of kissy face, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Muscle-bound werewolves.
I saw The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And
was
there
that too scary?
there was an emo moment when he threw himself on his twin bed, put in his earbuds, and listened to, I looked it up, a Philip Phillips rock ballad, and he languished. I'm not even kidding. I have a review up at Comedy Film Nerds, and for some reason, the intern changed my word languishing to laments. And I was like, what's happening? And Chris Mancini, the guy who runs Comedy Film Nerds,
Sure.
I was like,
With
can he
Graham
not?
Elwood?
Yeah. Can you not change the words in my, you can change the punctuation all you want.
Sure. I mean, an editor's supposed to give notes, right? Not
Right. Not just change the context.
willy-nilly.
Yeah. And Chris said, I actually can't talk to him about it. Is it all right if it just remains laments? And I said, wow. Okay. Note to self. If I never write another review on Comedy Film Nerds.
Okay. So we know who holds the power in that relationship.
Right. It turns out the intern who's not getting paid, who holds the only power he's got, which is the power to withhold his work, which I think is fair enough because he's not getting paid.
Sure. Why not?
He should get paid. I guess is what I'm saying, Mancini. Give the guy.
Internships in Los Angeles are a rough trade.
It is very much a rough trade. It's so. What were so you saw Eraserhead when you were 9?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see The Matrix early on? Because that one was scary, but not horror,
Well,
I guess.
I was like 18 when that came out, I think.
Okay, so you would have seen it as an adult
Sure.
human.
Yeah.
Okay, and by then you weren't thrown at all by a vat of goo that we were all plugged into. No, by then you were like, well, that's clearly what is happening.
Yeah.
And
Been there, done that.
what else is good though? What would be good for the people who have 9-year-olds out there?
Oh, for the 9-year-olds?
For the
what
9-year-olds.
would I recommend?
Yeah, what would you recommend for a 9-year-old?
The most violent thing you can find.
Yeah?
The early works of Peter Jackson, I think. For those those burgeoning Lord of the
monstery?
Rings fans out there.
Are they monstery or are they stabby?
They're monstery. They're pretty grotesque.
Okay.
They're fantastic. There's one called Dead Alive about a monkey that bites a woman when she visits the zoo and contracts this horrendous illness, which transforms her ultimately into a giant monster.
Monkey-ish?
In which she I can't even explain it. It looks like
Dead Alive.
Yeah. Also known as Brain Dead
Okay.
in the European countries. But at the end, she rises through the roof of her home and envelops her son in
Her family?
Her stomach opens up and she envelops her son back into her womb.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's Peter Jackson.
That's Peter Jackson. That's early Peter Jackson.
Okay.
It's a wild ride.
I think of Peter Jackson as sort of the rich man's Pendleton Ward,
Sure.
who's that Adventure Time guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
I think that makes sense.
yeah, I think that's the next step.
They do the company that publishes Next Testament publishes Adventure Time.
Okay. All right. It's I've only seen a little of it, but it looks super weird and fun. And
It's out there.
so you think early Peter Jackson for the youth?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
How about Army of Darkness?
Well, I think they already have an in with the Lord of the Rings films, and they can say, hey, what's this guy all about?
Okay.
What the hell is this?
I have a friend of mine when her son was 4, he would watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies just back to back to back. And every time the orcs were being born out of those vats, he would run out of the room and then he'd run back into the room.
Right.
Right. He'd be like, okay, I don't actually like this part because it's gross. I'm going to come back.
That's Jackson going back to his roots.
Okay. So all right. Cause I didn't like that part either. I wanted to leave the room as well.
That's the good part, man.
Yeah. So do you like it when it's a vat-born monster that did you see Godzilla?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the monsters, cause the Godzilla monster is just a giant lizard that happens to be bigger than buildings, and if people die and things get crushed, that's just collateral damage. That's Man of Steel.
Sure.
But it's it's when the monsters have some sort of agenda.
Right.
And it seems to be based on the devil.
Sometimes the devil gets involved.
But I could read all of Mike Mignola.
Uh-huh.
I could read all of his stuff, the BPRD and Hellboy.
Yeah,
and
that's
Abe Sapien and Baltimore.
Like fun stuff. That's not really.
That's not really horror.
Transgressive. To use a douchey word.
Right. No. Be judgmental and douchebaggy. I don't care. Own it. You know things, man. So what? Yeah. So what? Ghost starter horror and the greatest horror ever made. What kind of stuff do you like?
Wow. The greatest horror ever made.
Like, what do you aspire to? Is there stuff that inspires you that makes you just happy to watch over and over and over again? And what are those things?
I mean, we can cover the whole. We can run
dorky.
We can run the gamut with these.
There's
because there's The Shining, obviously, which
that's murdering.
Can be contested. Yeah. Have you never seen The Shining?
No. I will not be seeing that. I will not be seeing The Shining. I've seen enough of The Shining and the thing with the Bates Motel.
Oh,
the Hitchcock.
No. Yeah. Fantastic.
And, but it's. I mean, I'm sure it's very well done.
It is. I mean, I think so. I know a lot of people can't stand it. Stephen King even counted among them. Clive also can't stand the film.
Doesn't like the film. Did they read the books?
Yeah.
They enjoy.
I think for those that grew up with the book first, or knew the book first, and then came to the film, it's a different story. But
they're not like us, where we've had to settle over and over.
That's right.
And over again.
That's right. It's a different world now.
It's a different world. I'm like, no, it's an adaptation. I can always go read the book.
Yeah.
It's a whole new thing.
Yeah,
you can like
the book
The Shining,
exists.
the book.
Absolutely.
You can read the book over and over if you want. And then try to forget that you've read the book and then go to the movie.
Enjoy that as its own thing, which I think is a phenomenal work of terror and suspense.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I won't be reading it now
that's
either.
That's one of the only films that actually gripped me with fear.
Okay. Yeah. Because is it the unknown? Is it, so The Shining is, that's horror.
That's horror for sure.
Because of why? What makes it horror besides being horrifying?
That one I think is, it's sort of the untrustworthiness of the mind.
Okay.
I think it goes there.
The psychological.
Yeah. And it's also, it also taps into claustrophobia. There's that feeling of being trapped. I mean, they're in this place and there's nowhere else to go.
Because it's winter and they can't really set out into the woods and run away from the monster.
So it's kind of a double whammy.
Okay. So the horror that you seem to like is more psychological.
I'd say so. That
as
the
opposed
stuff
to
that talks to me is the psychological stuff because I don't trust the mind.
Okay. All right.
It's done bad things.
Okay.
But the stuff I watch just for shits and giggles, as they say, would be the Peter Jackson gore stuff, the Evil Dead, the Army of Darkness, like that.
Did you ever see Basket Case?
Absolutely.
I saw parts of that in college.
And that was it.
That was plenty. That's plenty.
Was that like through closed
from
hands?
From the door.
Okay.
From the door, my friend.
All right. Fair enough.
I saw The Omen.
That's a good one.
That was a deal. That was a devil one.
Uh-huh.
the religious ones draw me to them against my very will. I wasn't raised particularly religious,
Sure.
but I'm always like, oh, what would happen? You know, like I read Sandman and I read Lucifer.
Yeah.
And Lucifer's amazing. It's that's that Mike Carey.
The Neil Gaiman spinoff.
The Neil Gaiman spinoff with Mike Carey, where Lucifer is like, he's trying to get away from God's ineffable plan.
Yeah.
And God keeps saying, no, I knew you were going to do that too. Until the point where Lucifer's like, Jesus Christ, stop talking to me. I'm trying to get away from you.
Oh, that's great.
It's such a great premise for Lucifer giving up the keys to in the Sandman, he gives up the keys to hell to the Sandman.
Right.
And to Dream. And then, so the spinoff is Lucifer just going, well, now what? And he's trying to figure out his own way. And, you know, okay, like every 40 issues, you'll check in with God and God's like, oh no, I knew you were going to.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
I already knew that.
I said, what are you, my little brother? And,
that sounds great. I haven't read either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to pick them up.
They're very nice.
That's a sickness of mine. Anything anyone recommends to me, I'll read. I'll put it on my list.
Many Rangers of the Dork Forest have said exactly the same.
Really?
They're like, thank you. I now have a stack of books.
Now I have
Right.
ever increasing stack of films and books I need to get to.
Right. So there's psychological terror ones, but so do you like the serial killer ones too, like Silence of the Lambs? Or
Yeah, they're all right. Those ones don't really.
No?
I appreciate the good ones, but those aren't my sort of go-tos.
Okay. So what's another one? Like Shining era. Are there early ones?
Oh yeah, Shining era. There's this one called Don't Look Now.
Yeah.
Which I think some
Who's in
listeners
that?
maybe. That's Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
It is terrifying.
All right.
And it's completely insane. The ending defies all logic in the same way. Have you ever read Murders in the Rue Morgue?
No. That sounds terrifying. Is it a comic book?
It's an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Oh, okay.
About these murders that are happening in this
Oh,
area.
I might have read that because it would have been assigned.
Right.
Yeah.
And
like the Telltale
It may
Heart
well have been.
yeah.
But the end, it's the police are on the case and they're trying to figure it out, but it ends up being this a gorilla that escaped from the zoo that has a razor and it's just slashing people.
Right. Out of no.
Yeah. There's no motivation. There's no logic. And it's one of those that, you're trying to put the pieces together and then
And there are no pieces.
Yeah. It's just this bananas.
Right. You're just like.
Conclusion.
Oh, it turns out sometimes weird shit goes down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes life is just random and fucked up.
And just fair enough.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So that one, and was that in the 50s or?
That's also the 70s.
That was the 70s.
Yeah.
So Donald Sutherland is older because I think the first Donald Sutherland movie I think I saw was Kelly's Heroes.
Wow.
Which he played a World War II,
Yeah,
which I think
absolutely.
was also in the 70s.
Yeah, that's got to be an early 70s one, right?
Yeah. It was him and Telly Savalas and really, the famous person? That's the person whose name I'm forgetting. Clint Eastwood.
Okay,
It's Clint Eastwood.
okay.
That's the famous
That's
person that I'm thinking of that I can't.
Really?
Yeah. It's Nicholson. Anyway, so
What's the guy? Tom Cruise.
who's that gentleman?
That's it.
What okay, so what about what else? What do you like?
We can go newer psychological, which there's also a film called Trouble Every Day.
And that's current or newish?
That's fairly current. It's directed by a woman named Claire Denis, I believe.
Okay.
French filmmaker who does these really, really brutal types of films. And it's Vincent Gallo as a man traveling to a foreign country in the hopes of curing this illness that we keep alluding to, but we don't know what it is exactly that he has.
Okay.
And then at the end, we discover what the illness is, and it.
Okay, and it's but there's so much tension and so much.
Yeah.
Because it could be pandemic, it could be the Black Death.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is that's tearing this guy apart. And then when we finally find out, it sort of blows the doors off.
Blows it.
Yeah,
Blows it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So
Pretty crazy.
what about like pandemic-y kind of like
If they're done well, I think a lot of the times they're just kind of schlocky.
yeah?
Yeah.
What's What's a good one? What's a schlocky one?
Like World War Z didn't really do it for me.
Okay.
You know, I know a lot of people like that one.
Right.
But it was just
But that one
kind
was-
of more of the same.
My problem with zombies is that they're never gonna. I mean, wouldn't they eat all of each other and then be done?
Sure. You know,
I never understand why the zombies keep coming.
That's a good question.
Like when the zombies win,
Right.
what?
Yeah, then what?
They would die out, and
Sure.
so if you could just go hide in your bunker.
I think that's the metaphor is, you know, we're all becoming zombies.
Oh,
and
right,
If
'cause of
we're not careful, then we're just going to burn ourselves out kind of thing.
Right, Dawn of the Dead kind of thing,
Sure.
or the Mall, or
Yeah.
I never saw either of those either, but I hear that they're.
good.
Oh, is that one good?
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
Are they fast zombies or slow zombies?
Those are slow zombies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can get away, but they're going to keep coming.
Yeah. They're legion. They'll keep coming for you, and they'll rip your guts out in graphic detail.
Oh, okay. Okay. So those are, who did those? Who did
That
Dawn
was
of the-
George Romero.
Okay.
One of the best.
One of the best. Now, what else has he done besides the
Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead.
Did he do anything but zombie movies, or did he find
There's
a
also
niche?
Empire of the Dead, which is a zombie comic book that's out right now. But he also did, he did The Dark Half. It was a Stephen King adaptation in the 90s with Timothy Hutton.
Okay.
A film called Bruiser.
Are those pretty good?
Yeah. He's got a decent track record.
Okay,
He's
cool.
not, he doesn't have a perfect oeuvre.
No one does.
but, yeah.
All you got to be is a genius once.
Sure.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think, and then you've earned it.
And then you've earned it.
Yeah.
Then you are a genius. Well
Absolutely.
played. How about Hitchcock? Do you like Hitchcock?
Nope.
You do not
No,
enjoy?
I know, and I'm going to
Never
get a
got
lot
into
of
it.
shit. No, it just never did it for me.
Didn't click.
And I've tried. I will, and that's another thing. I will try. I'm not one of the guys that's just like, nah, I don't do Hitchcock.
That guy's overrated.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like,
No,
clearly he is rated for some reason.
Sure. So I have delved. I have tried many a Hitchcock, and none of them have done it for me.
It's all you can do. I mean, if it doesn't click, that's all that's,
Sure.
I love the effort.
I will punish myself. I've read all 4 Twilight novels.
Oh my God. That is a lot.
It's bordering on masochism.
Right. So those are vampires. Are there good vampire movies? Did you ever see Shadow of the...
Shadow of the Vampire was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one, I was up till 4 a.m. after I accidentally saw that.
Did you see the whole thing?
I did, because everyone was like, it's a comedy, Jackie. It's a comedy. I was like, only if you've seen every other vampire movie in the world do you think that this is an ironic glimpse into vampire movies. If you haven't, then all of a sudden it's Draculas.
Sure.
It's crazy,
It's real
crazy Draculas that are there to fucking kill everyone. And you're like, he's really good at this. I'm not pleased.
I get it. This is hilarious.
I get it. It turns out.
Leave the light on.
Right. Until I can think of lollipops and unicorns.
Wow.
And have them not turn into bloody vampire unicorns.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, but that one I thought was really well done. And what about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there good vampire movies? Are there good vampire
Sure,
movies?
there's a good every kind of movie.
Because that's a traditional monster, right?
Yeah. You got your Dracula, you got your Frankensteins, you got your Wolfmans.
Did they? What are the good ones of those?
I think
The Tom Cruise one, probably not as much.
not as much. It had its moment. I don't think it holds up as well. But,
Right. It's hard. Sometimes it is really hard for things to hold up.
Yeah, a lot of things are a product of their time, and at the time, I think they can be great, but then not.
What
so
holds
much.
up?
Oh, vampire films.
Yeah.
Werner Herzog did a remake of Nosferatu, which
Yeah.
was called Nosferatu, with where Klaus Kinski played Nosferatu, and that's
Is that current-ish?
no. I think Kinski died in like the 80s.
Okay.
But that guy was a maniac, and that version is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creepy as hell.
Okay.
You should totally check it out.
I should totally not watch it. Well done. Well done. Well, that's cool. How about, so is there a good, is there a scary vampire, is there a scary Frankenstein movie? Or is there a well done, I mean, because the psychological,
Sure.
I mean, it could be done. Like, I've tried to read Frankenstein, and I was actually bored.
Yeah, no, that
Very
that-
sad.
that's-
Very
that
sad, Mary
happens.
Shelley. I'm so sorry. I wanted to pick it up. But
I Frankenstein just doesn't really
yeah, because
do anything for
you would
me.
think that if you could get into the mind
Sure.
Like Young Frankenstein. Andy loves Young Frankenstein, and I've never been able to get into Young Frankenstein.
Can't even do Young Frankenstein.
Well, I'm not scared of it. I'm just like
not.
Because I think it is a terrifying idea of someone who is so afraid of death or is so interested in reanimating the dead,
Right.
that they must.
Yeah. I think the concept resonates.
Yeah,
It's that idea of, I appreciate what you're doing, and I like that it's out there, but it's not for me.
Nobody's nailed it as far as I can.
Yeah.
From people I've talked to, the people are like, no, Frankenstein things are good, but
Sure.
like there was.
They keep making them.
They keep making them. People, I think the angle seems to be from the writer's side of what it's like to be Frankenstein instead of what it's like to be Dr. Frankenstein.
Ooh.
Because
okay.
Dr. Frankenstein is the problem.
Right. He's the guy that we can all relate to.
Right. He's the one
He's the
who
guy trying to beat death.
Yeah, he can't take there's death. He wants to reanimate things. And you're like, that actually sounds like a terrible idea. And the fact that Frankenstein is born and isn't evil,
right,
is I think kind of the amazing part of that, right?
I like that.
Because he isn't. I mean, you would think that if you did something that was so clearly against God and nature,
right,
that what he would create would be an abomination.
Sure.
But what he has created is just a guy who's like, I just want to be loved.
It's an innocent, confused soul.
Right, a confused soul. So, all right.
I like that.
All right, I see.
Yeah,
I've created a new.
The wheels are turning.
Excellent. Well, write that.
Yeah.
And I will not read that. That'll make that terrifying and real.
I'll dedicate it to you.
Please do.
Put it on your shelf and point at it.
I'll point at it and go,
I inspired that.
I inspired that. I understand it's terrifying.
I hear good things.
I hear that it's really creepy. There are things like I won't read Rachel Rising or even Afterlife with Archie or Lock and Key at night.
Okay.
Like before bed. I'm like, no, this is morning time.
Are you generally afraid of the dark? Is that a thing?
No.
Okay.
I'm not particularly afraid of the dark. It's
My wife is, but that's just because she has horrible night vision.
Oh, really? So she can't see anything?
Right.
And so then she's not just in the dark. She's in.
Yeah. No, there's a nightlight in our bedroom, and I can still manage to sneak up on her.
Well, have you ever been in one of those self-deprecation? Deprecation.
No.
Well, what you do is you beat yourself up. Yeah, you beat yourself
I've been
up.
in plenty of those. But never in the deprivation tanks.
Talk about a Freudian slip. Okay, yeah.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Sure. But yeah, I haven't been, but I hear that they're amazing.
Yeah, no, those sound terrifying to me.
Yeah.
That sounds
Your wife wants no part of that.
That sounds like, and I don't want any part of that either. That's just, let the mind go do what thou wilt.
It's like
no thanks.
It's like a forced meditation thing where I've not even been able to just do that out in the sun.
Right.
Why am I floating in salt water and giving somebody
get rid of
$80?
all light and sound?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a film called Altered States?
Vaguely familiar, but who's in that?
That's William Hurt.
Okay.
Directed by Ken Russell. It's sort of psychological horror thriller kind of thing about a scientist that tests the limits of sensory deprivation and manages to de-evolve himself.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a wild one.
Wow.
So that's fun.
That sounds like another. And what do you think about the idea?
As you pick up the pen, then immediately put it back down.
What do you think? No, not that one. It's like sometimes does it feel like as you describe these things, it sounds like it's not a celebration of science so much as a warning of where science can sometimes take us, or like monster movies tend to be of, well, you've delved too deep in Moria, and now there's a Balrog,
right? And
you woke up Godzilla.
Yeah.
Nice work. So
I think whatever the thing is that people dig too deep into, whether it's science or Moria or
religion
what have you,
or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's all the same metaphor. I think that's just not leaving well enough alone. I think that's
more of a mind your own business.
Yeah,
kind of thing?
exactly. The metaphor I use a lot is it's gazing into the burning bush.
Okay.
I think obviously that's not a literal thing. Moses would not have, or who?
Yeah,
it was Moses,
no, it
right?
was
He would not
Moses.
have died had he gazed into the burning bush. It was for his own good. It was
Right.
It was don't look too hard at
Right. If he wouldn't
the
have
light
gazed into
essence.
into the burning bush, God would have been like, seriously, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And then the next bush would have burned. He was
Sure.
like, am I supposed to
Exactly.
get something? I'm supposed to pick up a couple of tablets? I'll be
Sorry.
right back.
I lost my train of thought. I've gone too far.
Right. I was told to ignore all weird talking foliage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that it is interesting that there's so do you now one of the things you wrote down was that you liked antique VHS. So do you have this stuff on VHS?
Oh, absolutely. Everything I've mentioned, I have all the original VHS tapes.
Huh.
And I will dork the hell out on those, man.
Really?
I have captured too many people at parties and told them about my VHS collection and just watched their eyes glaze over.
Right. Because I would imagine VHS was when you were a child.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Absolutely. And I just think there's obviously there's a connection there.
do you enjoy
there's a
cassette
nostalgia
as well?
factor? No.
So
I think you and I have a thing in common where we don't really are not that well versed in the music.
oh right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've
just
heard
the
a number of
audio of it.
podcasts where people, are talking about a certain lead singer or what have you.
And I don't know
that
who that
most
is.
people I think would know. And every time, and he is from.
And is that corn? Well, I just randomly guess
It's music and sports. Those are in complete.
You don't
different-
hate them.
I hate sports.
You don't enjoy the sport?
No, I will. It's mostly because it has burned me too many times. I think people look at me and they think I'm an athlete.
You're fit. You seem very fit.
They make that mistake.
They make that. You're like, I bet that guy has hand-eye coordination.
Absolutely. They're
Nope.
Every day I'll walk into a room, people will try to, pick a, hey, did you watch the game? I know not of what you speak, sir.
Which, was there something? Cricket? What happened?
Huh? Yeah?
And,
There's a thing going on? I don't know what season it is.
I hope it worked out for you.
And I've also I'm usually one of the first picked for teams when I'm unlucky enough to be in that situation. And 10 times out of 10, I will single-handedly lose the game for those people.
You will destroy their hopes and dreams. Okay.
Get the ball to Mark, and then I spaz out. And
Right, and it always ends in tears.
no.
So,
But music is different. Sports, there's a certain,
well, there's also too much
loathing.
music.
Sure, there is a lot of music, but I also find music too intense.
Okay.
Maybe what horror is to you, music is to me.
Wow.
It takes me on such an immediate and intense emotional journey that I can only listen to it very sparingly.
Okay, so you can't essentially like work and have music playing.
No.
That's not a go-to.
No.
I can do music or video and get work done. As you can see, Andy and our computers are set up
Absolutely.
like there ought to be a
like
water cooler somewhere.
I like the setup.
Yeah, we're cubicles. And but we're in the one room that has the TV. And when he used to go to an office, let's say,
Sure.
I would just play Netflix. I would just watch.
Right.
I would catch up on everything. And
That makes sense to me.
right, he can't have the television on.
Okay.
He can't get anything done. He can
Right.
do music. He can't do.
Sure.
So you have everything on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
So your VHS machine, is it a dual deck? Is it a single deck?
That's a single deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is, how do you maintain it? Do you know how to clean the heads?
I do, and I have
Okay.
some head cleaners. I also have a bevy of backups.
Okay. You have other machines?
Yeah, I have maybe 10 VHS players in my garage.
Really?
Yeah, just waiting for this one to crap out, and when that does, then I'll replace it.
Okay. Phone's ringing.
Yeah, that's
again.
a twofer.
That's nice. That rarely
That's
happens.
nice.
I wonder who that could be.
I'm feeling lucky.
It's you do it is. It's one of the lucky.
This is a good omen, I think.
Yeah. You ever read that? You ever read that book?
Good Omens. That's a great book.
It is a great book.
I'm so sad they never got to make that movie.
Right.
Terry Gilliam was going to direct that at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Great with Robin Williams and
Wow, they had it.
someone else. They
had it
they had
attached
lined
and
up,
everything.
and the financing fell through. It's a sad story.
It is a sad story.
But yeah, I do have
Neil Gaiman living check to check, poor guy.
I know.
Gary Pratchett can't catch a break. Neither one of those guys could get published or anything. It's so sad.
It's a shame.
No, I did love Gnomes, though.
No, it was a cool ass book.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
So on VHS,
Yes.
you have, of course, horror.
Yes.
What is the where do you store them? What's happening? How big do you live in a compound? Do you have a storage unit?
I should get a storage unit.
No, you shouldn't. That is why don't you light $50 a month on fire?
The first step.
That is the first step to having a storage unit. If you put something in storage, you're not using that item.
Sure.
Please give that to someone who might need or want it.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. And no one in America is following my advice.
No.
I am the biggest bossy magoo when it comes to storage units. I just think it's the biggest waste of money in the world.
All the storage unit facilities that line our highways.
Exactly. I know that it's employing one person per building.
Right.
And we need the jobs.
Yeah,
But for the love of God. And
those
storage
50
wars.
jobs.
Yes, it's 50 jobs. And that's the other problem. Okay. So you have a lot. How many VHSs do you have? I mean,
well, before DVD came out, and then streaming was a thing. I think I topped out at like 4,000.
okay.
And then I started selling some off, or
And trading up.
donating, trading up
To DVD.
But there are the oldest covers, like the first VHS tapes that were out had really cool styles. And this is where we go really inside baseball.
Let's do it.
Warner Brothers did a thing called a clamshell, which you see the Disney films on VHS are typically clamshells. That's like the sort of larger poofy case.
Oh, right.
But Warner Brothers did it. It was a big black case, and it just, you typically had like a screenshot from the film, and I dug the artwork.
Because there was enough surface space to really put some art on it.
So I have a ton of Warner clamshells. There was also something called Magnetic Video, which those were the first VHS tapes that ever came out. And
Magnetic Video
Corporation. That
was the name of the company.
Yeah. And it was generally, I think it was Fox films that had been produced by Fox.
Okay.
And so they'll, like films like Cleopatra and The Graduate, and
they tried to do the big classics.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Omen was on there.
Okay.
The French Connection. I have, but they also, there's some real obscure stuff that came out on Magnetic Video that was never released anywhere else. There's like a bunch of Jerry Lewis films.
Okay.
The Sad Sack, and like Visit to a Small Planet, and Don't Give Up the Ship. Just
I've always thought of him as a sad sack.
So it makes a certain amount of sense.
That he's got a movie called The Sad Sack.
Isn't that ironic?
Jerry Lewis, because he's the saddest clown in the world, that guy. Where you're just like, and granted, I grew up with him doing those damn telethons and boo-hooing his way through whatever disease he hates.
Sweating his way through all that money.
All that money, and you're just like, you're wearing me out, and I'm sure you're looking for some
saying lovely things about women.
Scantily clad cigarette girl to blow you on the like a days.
Yeah,
when if you had 15 minutes and somebody wanted to keep their job.
Not? Let Milton Berle kibitz for a minute while he goes backstage. And
yes, gets a toothy knob job, I believe is the clinical term. So sorry. I don't believe Jerry Lewis and the Toothy Knob Job, a new autobiography. I want him to write it.
Sounds like a children's book. I like.
I've been doing a joke about the little known children's book called The Meanest Jesus, which is my oldest brother's Jesus is The Meanest Jesus, and the little known children's book.
Very nice.
Jesus.
The Meanest Jesus.
Yes. He wants you to get it together, it turns out.
Oh, yeah.
Get your shit together.
You ain't Jesus. Kidding. No. That's another thing. I come from that world, so.
Oh, do you come? Oh, that's right. So wait, so Magnetic Video, we will get to it.
All right.
We will, but I'm curious, do you have the original Star Wars?
I do have the original Star Wars.
I used to, and then I was lied to and told that I could get the original Star Wars on DVD. And I did something with those original VHSs, and I don't know what I did with them.
See, it's a shame.
And now, Greedo shoots first, and it kills me. And
I see the anger on your face.
I'm just the fury, where I'm just like, is there a way that I could get in the DVD and somehow edit that? Is there? I don't even know how to edit video,
You
but
can probably find them online. Like a lot of people, that are outraged about that sort of thing will just upload the original versions.
Right, and then I could just burn it to a DVD and then just
exactly.
watch it at my leisure.
There was also a making of Star Wars that I don't think ever came out with any set that is available on Magnetic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just won one on eBay. I mean, there were I think like maybe a dozen left that I don't have from that set.
The company is Magnetic Video.
Uh-huh.
The way VHS works, is it through is it?
Hell if I know.
All right. And they put out mostly Fox titles, or they did other titles as well?
Generally, or things that maybe Fox acquired after a certain time. Like I don't think Fox put out The Graduate, but I think they
must
acquired
have
it at some point.
And so, are you trying to get their entire library?
I'm trying.
Really?
I don't know how successful I'll be, but I don't even know if any of them. There are some that I may be looking for that don't exist anymore. But
right. What are you looking for that you don't have? Just one of them.
One of them is something with Zalman King called the Ski Bum.
The Ski Bum.
Sure.
What is that?
I have
what
no
year
idea.
What's it? Is it a horror movie or is it just a?
Probably just some terrible melodrama with Zalman King, as he was want to be in.
I'm unfamiliar with his work.
Well, he did a lot of those types of things early on, and then he became the producer of the Red Shoe Diaries series.
Oh wait. Was that a Showtime?
Yeah, it was like
sexy,
a Showtime. That's the
sexy
one.
thing.
There you
okay.
go.
Yeah. I'd heard about it.
Yep.
A lot of comics were doing jokes about the Red Shoe Diaries at the same time when there was some sort of scramble porn, where they would just sit there and look at it and hope to see
that's
a
the same
nipple.
era.
There we go. Yeah. I was like, all right.
Again, the good old days.
Right. So you own like obscure Jerry Lewis movies.
Sure.
You've got
I have all and I mean I can go
movies?
through
What is
every
it?
studio. There was Columbia did theirs was it was like a flip case. Magnetic was this cool thing where that was the Warner clamshell. Magnetic had a thing where they like cut a hole in the front so you could see the tape inside, and so that was cool. And then Columbia did this flip case type thing where it on the front was artwork, and then it had a little tab that stuck in the side, and you could pull it.
Right.
And inside was like the cast listing, and then another,
like credits and stuff.
Yeah. It would. So I
And are the
enjoy
tapes
that as
inside different artwork as well, or is it
No,
just pretty straightforward,
pretty straightforward
VHS?
VHS tapes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So it was more the boxes that you're kind of psyched about.
Yeah.
Are they all the same height?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, aside from all the videotapes themselves, but like the Warner clamshells were about that big, but everything else was your general VHS box size.
Okay, yeah. It's no, that you're like safe space. This is the place to do it. This is the safest.
I know. I promised myself I wouldn't apologize for my dorkiness.
Do not even worry about it. It's so. Do you have any foreign stuff? On VHS? There's NTSC.
Oh,
is
sure,
the American
sure.
stuff,
Do I have
and
any
then there's
PAL things?
Do you have a PAL machine?
I do have a universal player.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And there I do, one of my magnetic tapes is a PAL, Muppet movie. Which is
the original Muppet movie.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
That is really cool. It's, now how's the quality? I mean, is it just grainy and fine
Sure.
and whatever?
Yeah, it's kind of like putting an album on.
Sure. That's exactly like, it's the same.
Yeah, you get that pop and that hiss, and it's just like, I'm back home.
Right. Yeah.
My childhood room.
Exactly. And what do you do when a tape gets eaten? You gotta take it apart.
There's a morning session.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, when I was at the height of my my VHS obsession, I was getting into I had the full screwdriver set. There were some that had the screws on the back that needed a specialty screwdriver.
Okay. And you had that kit at that time?
I had that kit.
Okay. Just so that you could get.
Yeah, I knew how to take. I had like a whole workshop. I had a bunch of like blank cases that I could house the tapes in, and if anything ever got eaten, I would pull the physical plastic box apart, and I had the little tape fixer. It was like this. It was kind of like
splicer-y kind of thing?
Yeah, I had the
Yeah.
splicer. I had the splicer, and I could splice it together and then put it back in. And
Right. Because my first job here in Los Angeles, the only job I ever had really for any length of time was at a closed captioning company.
oh, cool.
And
Very cool.
I was the closest they had to IT and a handy person.
Uh-huh.
And so all of the TV shows, Bold and the Beautiful,
Yeah.
Your Blind Dates,
Sure. Those were on those giant tapes, right?
yeah, quarter inch,
Yeah, yeah.
and Late Friday. I got my Late Friday set when I did the stand-up show Late Friday. It's why it's on my MySpace page with time code, because I digitized it.
Very
Because my
nice.
job was to digitize these things so the closed captioners could caption.
Handy.
And so I was like, and then I will be burning this to a CD-ROM. And hello and welcome to 2001. And
Interactive CD-ROM.
exactly. And then uploading it to MySpace. People should visit my MySpace page.
You still have a MySpace page?
You cannot get rid of your MySpace page. And weirdly enough, NBC doesn't know about my MySpace page because they pulled down all of my Late Friday, and they pulled down all the, I put Last Comic Standing and Late Friday on YouTube,
Yeah.
on my YouTube page. They pulled it off.
Okay.
They, it became disputed.
Sure.
And they were like, it's theirs.
Sure.
They don't check MySpace. They're
Right.
probably not checking Friendster either. If I
Nor
were
are
to
they
go,
checking the Dork Forest.
no,
I think
but
you've given yourself away now.
it's true. No. Pretty sure I'm a well-kept secret
all right.
to the people of NBC.
Fair enough.
They will not be. They will not be doing anything. It'll be fine. And if they do find my special place in the forest, and they remove those files from MySpace, it's an act of God.
You can put them on Reddit or Pirate Bay or
Right. We could go into Reddit if you like.
we can go wherever you
It's,
want, wherever you wish.
Well, you did say that you like to read biographies.
I do.
And I usually ask about that the last. We have a couple more minutes before we can talk about that. But I mean,
Cool.
it's what. Here's my thing. One of my nieces said, "Hey, you were a meme on Reddit," and I said, "Those are words."
It's certainly a combination of words.
That is a sentence. I know what a meme is, to my knowledge.
You were probably on stand-up shots, I'm willing to guess.
Probably it was me doing stand up, and then it was some joke of mine that had been misquoted. Congratulations, someone.
Done.
Well done.
Well done, Internet.
Well done, someone with Photoshop. And it wasn't the greatest picture. I mean, it was fine though. But
Was it at least a joke that you had told?
yes,
Okay.
it was
That'd be great
indeed-
if it was Judy Tenuta.
It was, and it was only a slight misquote.
Okay.
It's whatever. It's somebody quoted the other day. There was one where
There
They
goes
said-
Jackie Cation talking about her adopted kids again. Nope.
right, as I said, there was a line in one of my jokes where I said there's no hitting in grown up land, and somebody changed it to adult land, and I
Okay.
was like, that does not. The alliteration on that blows. Please do not.
Mathematically, that is not a good
not
joke.
work. The algorithm on that joke is flawed, my friend. Anyway, but Reddit has that. There's stand-up shots.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's a subreddit called Stand-Up Shots.
where they try to find the line that they like from some comic.
Sure.
A shot of
Yeah.
their face.
And ostensibly, people can trade, karma or upvotes or what have you, whatever good vibes they
likes or favorites,
they want
that kind of thing on Reddit.
for something someone else said.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
So do you have a Reddit account like a Facebook account?
No.
Explain to Grammication what Reddit is.
Well, Grammy Cash. Reddit is, it's basically where all the trolls go to hide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I myself am guilty of. I
just
don't
baiting?
I don't
Is
know.
it
I don't
just bear
harass.
baiting, or?
It's just I have an account that is it's a screen name I don't have on any other account.
Okay,
it's
so
completely ludicrous.
Okay, so you have essentially it's a place to just say whatever you want to say because it isn't really linked to anything.
Sure.
Traceable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some people use that power for good, and some do not.
Right, as per usual,
Right,
out in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about 50-50.
And is it a good thing to have kind of a non-traceable account, even if you are using it for good?
I guess if you're using it for good, then it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter, except for that. What if bad guys are like, I hate your good.
Right.
And then they find you.
Right. Then then that can be I mean that's the problem
Do you think
with
most
the internet
people
to
are
begin
real?
with, is
Yeah,
that,
but
that cowardly anonymity.
Yeah. But do you think most people are using their real names on Reddit or not?
No.
Oh,
Most people have names like Unicorn Rape and
Okay. So
dong butt, just the stupidest.
they've used the word butt in a hilarious way.
It's crazy. You wouldn't believe it.
You wouldn't believe the ways.
Heights of hilarity.
Right. Look, there's an orifice joke. Oh my God.
Who saw this coming?
Please look for Jackie Cation's new slug name orifice joke.
Yeah.
Anyway.
On Reddit.
So when you go on Reddit, is it you post pictures of ponies and kittens and
Sure.
and and then memes are done? What else is happening over there? What's going on?
I go for the particularly gruesome subreddits.
Okay.
Which it's sort of like treasure hunting for me, where if I can find obscure things that
Is subreddit a topic?
subreddits are we'll say the main page is called Reddit, and then every subreddit is another page.
It's
where
like a
it'll be
thread or a
Reddit
page
/WTF, which is not about Mark Maron's podcast.
Right.
It's things.
It's just that you're
it's
like,
pictures,
seriously, what the fuck?
Yeah, pictures in everyday life that people find.
And is it only pictures, or is it also like commentary?
It'll be pictures, screenshots of Facebook interactions.
Oh, okay. It's like
stories people tell, things like that.
News or fake news or something.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, this happened to me today.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah. You can,
Craigslist.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. There's and
Is there a Reddit online dating site?
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is.
I've
Why
never
wouldn't
ventured
there?
into that zone.
Into the erogenous zone.
Right.
And of Reddit.
I prefer the strange ones. Like I just like I do what they call lurking. I browse for hours on end, and I'll sit there, and
That's a rabbit hole.
it's true. Yeah, no kidding.
Because it's every topic that you can even think of.
There's there were subreddits
Because if I
called
went in.
Malkovich. I think it's called Malkovich, and it's just people putting John Malkovich's face on things.
Wow.
And there's one called One True God, which is people putting Nicolas Cage's face on anything. Like they'll put it in a burrito. There's one of it's a woman, a naked woman, with her face has been photoshopped out. Nicolas Cage's face is on her face and on her vagina.
Interesting. And One True God is all Nicolas Cage.
One True God is all Nicolas Cage.
For some
He's sort
reason.
of the god of Reddit for some reason.
Okay, so he is somehow captured the imagination of a generation.
Yeah,
who
yeah,
enjoyed
yeah.
because all my nieces and nephews are on it, and that's fine.
Sure.
That's much like horror. It doesn't
Right,
have to. Everything
right.
doesn't have to be for me.
No, it's not for
turns
everyone.
out.
There's one
And
called
so-
whale bait.
Yeah.
Which is a pun on the word jailbait, which is
Oh.
people, whether they're pretending or not, I'm not sure, but people posting pictures of ocean animals breaching the surface of the water with sexual captions.
Oh, right. So it's essentially like Flipper.
Yeah.
And then you're
look at the tail on this one.
right. Wow, that's dumb. That's, but everyone has to fill their days with something.
Sure.
And, all right. Okay. So that is Reddit. All right.
That's Reddit.
Good to know. It's,
And of course there are cats.
there are cats and puppies and ponies and whatnot.
Science and makeup and
Sure.
what have you.
But somebody said, well, I mean, when that joke showed up there, they said, this is going to be great for your career. Is it great for my career? If somebody
Have
has
you
a
seen
meme,
a positive
spike?
knock-on effect?
No. Not because of IO9
Maybe
did
you
an
got
article.
a couple more Twitter followers.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I suppose there's so many different places to find things
Sure.
on the internet
Sure.
that you're like, okay, well, that was on The Onion. I'm going to go look over there at that, whatever The Onion mentioned.
Right.
So it could add 4 more people.
It could.
Every time
One never knows.
anything airs, I get 4
Right.
more fans. I win. So
There you
I
go.
will build the tiniest empire the slowest
4
possible
people at a
way.
time.
Right. Let's talk about the biographies that you enjoy reading.
Biographies.
Non-fiction biographies.
Yeah.
Autobiographies, biographies.
Whichever.
Either way?
Well, yeah, whatever's
You've done
interesting.
both?
We've already touched on Kinski. I read his autobiography. Wow.
Who is he again?
Klaus Kinski is an actor.
Okay.
Wow.
Where's he from? Who's his deal?
Germany?
A German actor from what era?
German actor from, I think he started working in the early 50s and then went on to, like so many actors from that era, to just make terrible, terrible horror films.
Oh, right, because
in
that was
80s,
the work.
And before he died, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite interviews with, I'm going to space her name, Alyssa Milano. There we go. She came out with a movie about ghosts the same year Beetlejuice came out. Mm-hmm. And I saw an interview with her and they asked her, would you have done Beetlejuice if it had been offered to you? And she was like, yes, I would have done. What are you, nuts? She was like, and they said, well, why did you do the one you did and not Beetlejuice? And she was like, couple of reasons. They didn't offer me Beetlejuice and I'm an actor. So I do the gig it was one of the dumbest entertainment talking heads questions I've ever heard in my life.
That's fantastic. I love podcasts, and when two people get together that have to go through that a lot.
Yeah. And they just tell those stories.
Yeah, and they'll tell the stories about the uninformed interviewer. It's
right.
The best.
Well, I post this thing on my bio page, and I thought I was troubleshooting. Mm-hmm. How did you start out in comedy?
Sure.
Because that's what people always ask. So I was like, well, just put it on the bio page.
I'll take care of it.
No one will ever have to ask me again. And people are like, hey, I read that's how you started out in comedy. Can you tell that story again? And I'm like, I am going to stick this pen into my own trachea. And
answer this question one more time.
Which Tina Fey, in her book Bossy Pants, did you ever read that one?
Absolutely.
She told that story about how she doesn't talk about her scar.
Right.
Because then everyone from Entertainment Forever will ask her about it forever.
Sure.
So she's like, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I liked whenever she can tell what kind of person they are by how soon they ask her about her scar.
Right. No, that's perfect.
She's like, somebody says, did a cat scratch you? She's like, I never feel bad for those dum-dums. Those dum-dums, I could listen to those guys forever. No, a cat didn't.
That's fantastic. Right out of the gate.
Right. So Kinski, a fascinating book of that guy's life.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was a maniac.
Okay.
It was an autobiography. So it was just, I kind of like those because they're told from the skewed perspective of the madman that's telling them.
Oh, right. He's just like, I am the hero of this story.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing better than the hero telling his own story. That's
right.
Kind of great.
Right. Who else? What else have you been reading lately?
Right now I'm reading Going Clear, which isn't technically an autobiography, but
that's that revealing thing of Scientology.
Yeah.
The kids who were kidnapped and tried to. I mean, there's trouble.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, it sort of covers
it's not a positive
the
story
history
of we all believe in aliens and it'll be fine.
Sure.
And by the way, be nice to each other. No one.
Maybe.
That's not.
No. Yeah. Maybe. If
that's
people
the
are
religion.
watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's grim.
Oh yeah. No,
yeah.
It's a wild world out there.
It is crazy. And you were raised super religious?
I was. It was.
Which religion? Anyone in particular?
It would be a non-denominational Christianity.
The sort of super church?
Yeah. By the end of my run, I was calling it judgmentalism. So.
And as all the best fringe religions are, in my opinion.
Right.
I'm willing to take a stand.
I'm going to be edgy today.
I'm going to be real edgy and say your fringe of any religion, full of jackasses and morons. And sweeping generalization. You and your strap a bomb on, we're never going to move out of this plot of land.
It's a bit jackassish.
It just seems so certain.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that got me.
And I'm arrogant.
Right.
I am a very arrogant person. I am not that certain. I am never going to be certain enough to know what.
Sure.
Wow.
I'll tell you how certain this is going to end up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're still going to die.
Sure.
Right. And you still don't know what's going to happen. So
and no one does. It's ludicrous.
Yeah. And that's why I always I was raised in the Armenian church, which literally, for me, the message of the Armenian church was all in Armenian. And it seemed to be like the nice man in the picture and go get your dad some coffee. That was the entire message of the Armenian church when I was a child.
Well, that's not too bad.
It wasn't that bad. Sure. A little bit of step and fetch it. But on the whole, he was my dad. I could get him a cup of coffee. He's not going to kill me.
Well,
whatever.
That's nice.
He likes sugar and cream.
I know.
So, what would you? What are? do you usually read actors and movie people? Or?
Yeah. It's the showbiz biographies are the ones that really do it for me. But I'm interested in stories about just the people that rose through the ranks.
I mean to read more of those. The Kinski one. Who else did you really like? Any ladies?
Joe Esterhazy.
Who's Joe Esterhazy?
Who wrote Showgirls and Basic Instinct.
Oh, okay.
He was like the highest paid writer in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a massive autobiography called Hollywood Animal, which is frighteningly resonant for me. And I think that's the reason I read a lot of those as well, is because just
as a warning to yourself.
What I do, it helps me. It's almost like a field guide for how to survive and stay sane in Hollywood. Yeah, it's
because you can see. I'm a big believer in work friends.
Right,
those are my work friends.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go over here and not hang out with those people because they're nice enough. But
no, it helps to compartmentalize. It's one of the only ways you're gonna maintain your sanity.
Yeah. Do you guys have kids? You and your wife?
No.
All right. Because raising children is its own excitement, I'm told.
Sure, that's what I hear. I don't know. My wife's a teacher, so she gets her fill of children, I think. But we've been married a few years now, and we've been together 12 or 13.
Okay. What grade does she teach?
Second grade.
Okay, so she knows what an 8-year-old is like.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out.
Certainly.
They're hilarious and little jackasses. But they are very funny.
All rolled into one.
One, because they don't have any filter and they don't care.
No.
And, but they're, it's one of my favorite ages, quite honestly, of a child.
I have little to no experience with children.
Okay.
The only experience I have was me being a child at one point.
Right. That is tainted. That memory is not going to serve you.
That's not going to help. That's not going to help come the day. But
right. There's very little distance there. You were too close to the, to the subject.
But she's good. She's got it covered. So
cool.
Should the day come.
Right. Should it occur, she has seen the.
Right. I'll look to her.
Exactly.
What are we doing again? All right. You got it.
No, he can tie his own shoes. I've seen it.
Cool.
Anyway, what would you recommend what people as a parting shot? People should go to markallenmiller.com and they could follow you on Twitter at Mark
Follow
Allen.
me on Twitter. I tweet occasionally.
Right, and if you go to Reddit, look for Loquacious Butthole.
That's the one. That's the winner.
It's a talkable
That's my
ass.
screen name. Surprisingly, it wasn't taken.
And I don't know, but it's so that's super fun, and people should read New Testament and Hellraiser.
Next Testament with me and Clive and Hellraiser, and today actually we just announced the first of 5 videos that I'm producing with Nerdist.
Okay.
And the Superego gents.
Okay.
They do an awesome, hilarious podcast, and we've taken 5 of their sketches. Sure. And
the twitchy movements.
Yeah, that's the one. And we'll be releasing one per week for the next 5 weeks.
And so it is today. It's like May 18th or something like that. So this won't go out until early June.
Yeah, I'm good with dates.
Yep. And you need to look around for a calendar.
Yeah.
Is there a calendar here? No. But what on the Nerdist channel there will be videos.
Yeah.
From who?
Go Superego.
From Superego.
One word. Superego.
And if they look on your website, there'll be a link.
There'll be a link there on my website.
Or
you can also go to gosuperego.com.
And they will tell you what's up.
Google Nerdist and Superego and
it'll all work out for you.
And hilarity will ensue.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thanks for having me. This was a blast. You weren't kidding. It went fast.
It goes almost, you're just like, I'm done talking about the thing I like to talk. Oh. All right. Okay, bye. All right. Take care of each other out there. Okay, bye.
My hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?